Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. Today I'm here once again with Cal Ellis, and today we're talking about this whole new deal the Penguin Random House has with comic book stores. Remember, Penguin is taking over the distribution deal, or at least some of it, not all of it, for Marvel. So here's 60. They're doing something net 60 payment terms. So I'm passing it on to my boy Cal to give a little bit of understanding to this. Does it mean the end of the comic book store? Does it mean that Diamond's out of business? What's your take on this, Cal?
Well, first things first, it doesn't mean the end of the comic store. Actually, what it does mean is that for the first time in a very long time, Diamond has competition. Diamond has some serious competition based on what I'm reading in terms of the article. Net 60 means that the stores would have up to 60 days in order to pay for whatever books that they receive. So Diamond was able to compete with, say, free shipping and that type of stuff, but traditionally, what Diamond says is, hey, you got to pay for these books either before you get them or you have to pay cash on demand, meaning that when we deliver these, you got to pay for them. Penguin's telling them, well, no, we'll give you up to 60 days to pay. So Diamond, we'll have to say, well, what can they do to compete with that? Now, if you're a store, of course, you would want as much time to pay as possible. Gives you a better chance to come up with the money, make profit, all of this type of thing. And Penguin has the resources where they can say, look, yeah, especially they'll probably just say, look, if you fall behind and you don't pay, we're not going to distribute you anymore. And then, you could probably go for an alternative with Diamond, unless, of course, enough stores decide to go with Penguin based on this offer and Diamond doesn't distribute any longer, which means that everybody's in with Penguin. So we'll see what Diamond does in order to be competitive with that sort of thing.
My goodness, Diamond was the 500-pound gorilla in the market. They had it all, DC, Marvel. And now it's like they're just down to independence, it looks like. Like, what the gooey goo goo is going on? I mean, was their service so unsatisfactory to the...
No, that's totally unfair. Diamond's service, I mean, you have to go back before Diamond, there were other distributors. And they weren't reputable, okay? You went with anybody besides Diamond, you didn't know if your books were going to show up. You didn't know if that was going to happen. That's one of the reasons why Diamond became the only distributor, because they could handle it. And people got their books on time, okay? And Diamond did good business. What happened is, pandemic. And with the pandemic, it became, all right, this doesn't work for the bigger companies because we still have the money and we want to be able to get these books out. And Diamond was trying to be fair to everybody, saying, no, we don't want to just distribute your books because that's not fair to the other guys. And, they're going to lose money. So they tried to have one policy for all. DC went first and said, no, we don't want to do that. We want our books to come out. And not only do we want them to come out, we want them to come out on Tuesday before everybody else, so we get first looks. Marvel, of course, decided to follow suit. So, there's nothing wrong with Diamond. It wasn't that Diamond had a stranglehold or anything. They were the most reputable company. And the other ones previous to that just weren't, they weren't dependable. Now, DC and Marvel have decided, well, we want to go with, this type of distribution. So if this happens in the future, we have options. We can still keep producing. But it wasn't that Diamond was a bad distributor. Diamond has been an excellent distributor for decades. The problem is now that they decided that, look, we want to do some other options.
Man, but what does that do with the smaller comic book companies? Does that give them the same?
Well, they're still with Diamond as of right now.
I mean, because they only want the big fries, right? So,
well, I'm not sure what you mean.
I mean, the big fries. I mean, Diamond's doing a good deal because they're going through Marvel. Now they're probably getting all of Marvel. They're going to get all their publishing, probably trying to do some books because Diamond is a publisher. And then you're going to have
DC started the whole thing off because, well, DC was also under a bit of pressure because AT&T was like, hey, we paid a lot of money for you guys. We want our money. So DC was like, okay, we got to get these books out so we can get these guys off our back. That was a big issue. That was an issue for them. So they couldn't wait for Diamond. They had to come out, they had to get the books out. So they do just that. They get the books out. Cool. But once DC does something and shows it can be done and they can make money doing that way, Marvel usually follows suit. And that's exactly what they did. So the smaller companies, the smaller publishers, Dark Horse, Oni, they weren't looking for anyone different. They were going to do their stuff with Diamond. Their deals are fine. But if you're Marvel or DC, you're like, well, look, we want to get our books out. We have enough resources to get these books out, and get them distributed, and they can make those moves.
So do you think there's going to be any problems with this? I mean, did they start the deal yet? Do you know?
Who, Marvel?
Marvel and Penguin.
Yeah, that's done. That's done. So but what the deal, how this affects it is that stores now have an option. They can continue to go through Diamond. They, these are comic stores. They can continue to go through Diamond for Marvel Comics. They can still do that. Or if they prefer not to, they can just do it with Penguin. If you do it with Diamond, Diamond's rules say, look, you pay for these books in advance or you got to pay when they're delivered. Penguin is saying, look, we're going to give you up to 60 days to pay for this stuff. And that is a very attractive offer. So if you have that with Penguin, it now becomes, well, what do you do? Are you going to continue doing business with Diamond, or do you do business with Penguin? Because of course it's very attractive to not have to pay your bill for 60 days.
Yeah, and you can use whatever you pay. That's great. So,
it's pretty much like it's like a credit card. You got 60 days to pay.
Can't beat that. It's I'm good. I mean, it looks as though that's a good thing for comic books. I mean, we've been worried about, especially during the pandemic, what's going to happen to these guys. And now, at least they're going to be, they're going to have some time to pay these bills. But still, Diamond has been the like I said, the 500-pound gorilla. It's been there to support the comic book industry, and let's see what's going to happen. Because if you're talking about DC, a big chunk of its the comics they used to distribute, and now Marvel. You probably talk about what 60-70%. Well, like you said, the comic book stores get to choose, but still, that's a potential 60-70% of their market. Just like,
I was never worried about the comic market. I just said, look, it's one thing. If comic books implode, they'll implode on their own. It won't be because of a pandemic or something else. It'll just be that people don't want comic books any longer. So I was never particularly concerned about that. However, okay, what you do want to worry about is the only person who really has their neck on the block right now or is approaching it is Diamond. That's it. If they lose a lot of the distribution, that they would receive from distributing Marvel books, then it becomes, all right, are they still making enough revenue with these smaller publishers for them to still keep doing it? And then you have to worry about if Diamond goes, then you worry about the smaller publishers. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I think that covers it. If there's anything anybody wants to say, please comment, like, and subscribe. So I'm trying to give you news. As you can see, we're getting it from Bleeding Cool. But as long as the comic companies are doing well, we hope Diamond works these things out. Spinner Rack.
Out.